Needs can be your mental health, your emotional health, your self-esteem. It could be your goals, your careers. Whatever it takes for you to be fulfilled, that's what I'm calling a need. Boundaries are you acknowledging that other people's needs are equally as important as your own needs. An example would be you waking up at 5 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. every morning to just have you time. And that's the time where no one can bother you, when people leave you alone, when you just take care of yourself, whether that's you reading a book, watching a movie. It's the time that you give yourself to fulfill yourself. That may sound small, but boundaries are very personal. So you know what you need. It's that we sometimes neglect it, or we have dysfunctional beliefs on caring for ourselves, whether it's mentally, physically, socially. So, for one person, taking care of their needs is having an hour 30 every morning to themselves. Another person taking care of their needs is them scheduling time with, people that energize their spirit and get them out of the routine of daily life, and, having refreshing conversation. So yeah, boundaries are you acknowledging others' needs, but you understanding that your needs are just as important. And boundaries are personal. So only you know what you need. An example would be, I used to be someone that would pretend a lot. I would, whatever someone wanted me to be, molded myself into that. Or I had an idea of what someone would want me to be, and then I would become that. It became very debilitating to my mental health, my emotional health, to my progress in life. I just felt really low in spirit and confused. Now that I'm older and I understand the danger it is to my well-being to people please, I now have a boundary with myself that I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to express my personality as it is. Boundaries allow you to know what parts of yourself that you can give and what parts that you can't give. I know that if I'm around someone and I just want to love on them, I want them to have a great experience, whether it's like family or just making people happy, or enjoy the conversation, or just enjoy your presence. um I know that I can probably give talk about things that they're interested in, or I could listen to them when they talk, or I could we can go out and do something fun and just kind of let the vibe flow. But I know that something that I cannot give is me pretending to be someone that I'm not. I know that's something that I can't give to them, but what I can give, I give. There's a misconception that boundaries mean that you say no to people, or that boundaries mean that I have to either choose them or I have to choose myself. And that's not the case. Boundaries allow you to know what parts of you that you can give. Because if I was, for example, to give the part of me that is give for me to pretend and for me to shame my personality towards to myself, I would become a weird version of myself, a less ideal version of myself. It's important for you to know where you're giving to, what place you're giving to others. It's important to know where you're giving. from? Are you giving from an insecure place? Are you giving from one of your pretenses? Are you giving from a place of lack? Are you giving from a place of love? The thing about love is that it has nothing to do with emotional content. It is literally a decision you just choose to give to someone. It has nothing to do with being emotional. If you're not well, if you're not in a good headspace, if you are functioning from insecurity or from dysfunctional beliefs that disable you to function in a healthy place, when you love people, you're going to give from that place, and they're going to be eating the fruit of your dysfunctional. Boundaries aren't about saying no to others. It's about saying yes to yourself. It's about saying yes to being a healthy version of yourself, being a whole version of yourself, a version of yourself that has a sound mind, that has self-esteem, that is self-accountable, that is genuine. And from that place, you love others. You don't want to love someone from a depleted place, from an empty place, from a stressed place. That's why I say that boundaries mean that you say yes. Because taking care of yourself, acknowledging your needs, you say yes to others when you love them, for them to experience that healthy, that fulfilled, that full, that whole space of that version of you. A problem that some people have is that they think that they need to love others at the expense of themselves, or that they need to service others at the expense of themselves. And let me tell you why that just doesn't work out. Because if you're going to be of service, if you are going to love someone, and love just means to give, you have to be a version of yourself that is fulfilled, so that when you're loving someone, when you're being of service, you don't feel like they owe you anything back. Because to acknowledge the fact within yourself, it begins to wear on you. You don't behave at a high level, at a high functional level as you. And it also is not sustainable. When you love others, or you give, or you're of service to others at your own expense, it's not something that you can do long term. And if you do it long term, you'll see the effects of how that wears on you, how that looks on you. If you're not taking care of your mind, if you're not taking care of your emotions, if you're not making sure that you're fulfilled, if you're not making sure that you're making time for the things that are important to you, and you're functioning from an empty place, you don't have anything to give anyone. So even though you may feel like you're giving everything, you're not giving them anything. You get what I'm saying? You're not giving them anything. If you are, you're just giving them physical things. You're just taking them to school. You're just, doing all the physical things. But when it comes to relationally, your legacy as a person, not just the things that you were able to give them, if you're not taking care of yourself as a person, and you're doing all these things, you're not really giving them anything. It's nothing. It's not even a personal thing where they have a meaningful relationship with you outside of the things that you gave them. If you love to give back, you care for people, you're a giver. Even if it's in business, if you start your own podcast and you want to be of service, you must take care of yourself. And that means that you have to know what your needs are for you to be your optimal self. And then you have to continue to maintain those boundaries so that you can continue to get the results that you like. I'm someone where I need to be myself. And sometimes it can feel easier to just laugh at certain things. Laugh at things that I don't find funny. Laugh at things that I look at like, no. You know what I mean? Like, for me to function correctly, I need to be myself. The ways that I would think that I would need to act to help or to make someone happy or whatever the case may be, I can't do. But by me being myself, I know, hey, I can be genuine and just hug on this person a lot, love this person. I could listen even when I don't agree. Understanding your limits allows you to know what you can do. Boundaries are very personal. They're there to help you. They're there to carry you through this race called life in a productive manner. And it may seem small, my example of, oh, just laugh with them, this, that, and the third, they won't notice, or it's a big deal to me. That's just, I don't, it's a big deal to me. Every person's boundary is personal for who they are, their environment they're in, the season that they're in. Another belief about boundaries that I want to debunk: to grow, you have to have boundaries. Boundaries are not about controlling someone else. It's about you continuing to maintain yourself. It's you continuing to hold yourself accountable with the agreements that you have with yourself. You can't control anyone. Even if you wanted to, you can't control anyone. You just need to make sure that you have your boundaries, that you're taking care of yourself. And if someone wants to be with you, wants to act right, or if they're not acting right, well, this ain't working for me, I gotta go this way. It's really just about maintaining the healthy parts of you and the opportunities that you have to stand up for yourself. However way that may look, you have to acknowledge your need of being respected. Not having someone in your presence that treats you like you're just, if that's your boundary, you have to ask yourself, am I that type of person to deserve that treatment? So let's say my boundary is I don't tolerate disrespect. I would have to be honest with the energy that I am bringing to conversations, to relationships, to environments, and ask myself, do I deserve what I'm asking for? And this isn't to focus on the other person's response. It's to focus on, am I showing up in a way for me to receive what I am asking to receive? I can't have a boundary of, oh, you can't disrespect me, but I'm being disrespectful. I'm being inconsiderate of how my words land. You can't ask for something and not be the type of person to deserve it or to be able to maintain that treatment. There's parts of us that if we give it to someone, for me, it's like a conversation. Like I can give anyone a conversation. And when I say conversation, I mean like small talk, like just engaging with someone. But then there's some parts of me that are sensitive, that if you were to mishandle them, it would hurt me. This is where I say you cannot control anyone. Cannot control anyone but yourself. So you have to allow people to be who they are, and you observe them and see, can this person handle this part of me? This person have the capacity to handle this part of me in a way where they won't throw me off. The whole point of protecting the vulnerable parts of you is you avoiding an extra headache, you avoiding drama, because people are going to fail you. People are going to let you down, but it's better for you to observe the type of person that you're with. If there's a part of you, whether them knowing your background or them knowing your dating history, what's this person's character, right? From what I see, what are they most likely to do? And allowing people to be themselves, because you want to know the type of person that you're with. You don't want the representative. You want someone to get real nice and comfortable. From that place, you would be able to see, if this person's a womanizer, is, cruel or mean, they do messed up things, or, they betray people. Like, you just have to observe who people are. People will show you who they are. You just have to just observe them. People are going to fail you, but you got to be smart. And this requires for you to not be in fantasy land. It's not okay for you to excuse what they're doing. You need to accept people and allow them to be who they are. Protect the vulnerable parts of you. People have to earn it. You need to be a certain type of person for me to tell you my secrets, right? you need to be a certain type of person for me to want to marry you, for me to want to have you in my space. Why? Because I know that humans can affect other humans. And the last point that I want to talk about, guys, is when communicating your boundaries, you're literally just talking to someone. It's not about them stopping. It's not about them understanding that you're not the one to be messed with or to play with or not to cross this line. Communicating your needs. And if you talk to someone, if you have a good relationship, or this is just someone on the job, and you converse with them, then you can tell them your needs, like, hey, I don't like it when you talk to me like that. It sounds weird when I say it on camera, but I feel it. Like, I have it in me where I'm like, if someone's talking to me crazy and like if it's socially acceptable to me for me to express myself, then I would. It can come from an authentic place. Communicating your boundaries, communicating what you need is very simple. You just communicate like how you communicate any other situation. It doesn't have to be a serious thing. It doesn't have to be a sit down. You don't have to puff up your chest to communicate it. You just say, hey, this is what I need, and you just carry on. And sometimes it may take a while for people to get used to it, so you have to continue to restate your boundary. And also understand that if someone isn't willing to respect or they don't want to go with your boundary, you have a choice to decide how you'll behave from that. So whether that's you walking away, or whether that's you just trying to find a compromise, or whether that's you, figuring out another way for you to get what you need, however way you deem to be suitable for you, that's how you would do it. So don't feel like you have to be a whole nother person to communicate your boundaries, to communicate, what you need, because it's just a conversation. That's it, you guys. That's the end of this video. And I hope you guys gained some understanding from this talk. And I will see you guys next time.